couldn't even afford a wedding. We had a honeymoon at our flat, our run-down old flat.
My name's Warren Borsje. I'm going to be your presenter for the next 2.5
I was sick and tired of never having any money.
We've got a home in France, we've got a little place in Brighton, we've got a really nice big place in Melbourne. We want money, we just put the thing in the wall and take it out. We don't have to worry about how much we spend. And I built that up in just 3 years. And you can absolutely do the same.
Oh, he's very self-assured, comes over very well.
I know people who would benefit from this.
There were things that he came out with which, you know, even I hadn't realised were going to be so constructive.
If you really want to do it, you will find a way.
Okay, welcome Warren Borsje. Is that how you say it? Okay, so now give me the details here. We want to know. So take me through it. You started with no money?
We had nothing. So
define nothing.
Well, in fact, I was overdrawn in the bank in a negative position.
Okay.
And
who's we?
My wife and I, Mandy. And we realised that we had to. The biggest problem, I think, for everyone was coming up with that small amount of money to start.
Yeah.
And
that's the big problem.
That's the thing, because we found that very difficult, and so we had to get creative around the idea of, well, how can we raise capital so we can get out there and start investing?
And how'd you pick property? Why didn't you just start robbing banks?
Well, robbing banks was a bit. I did look into it, but it was a little bit. It was a bit hard.
Deal.
It was a bit. The security thing is a bit difficult.
I know, it's always screwing you, that camera.
I know, it's the cameras.
I know.
So what did we do?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I can remember the first place that we found this place. It was 100. This is back in Australia. It was 120,000, and $120,000. But we knew that place was worth more than what we were going to pay for it.
Right, so the first thing you do is you get something where you know it's worth more.
That's right.
Okay.
Okay, so we had to do is
How'd you know?
Using property, we had to do our research. So what we had to do is we had to work out, get very good at it by working out what places were worth, what exactly a one bedroom's worth in the area we were looking at. What are two bedrooms worth? What is a little house worth?
How do you know? What do you ask people?
Well, you have to go out there and have a look at what's sold. You can get results from previous sales.
Okay, so you look at newspapers and stuff.
Yeah, newspapers.
Yeah, okay.
Go in there and have a chat with people. Go into the estate agents and say, hey, look, well, have a look on the board and say, look, well, what did these sell for?
Okay.
A lot of them have sold, so you can see the sales price.
So how did it show me the money?
So, okay, show you the money. So we found this place for $123,000.
But you know it's worth more.
We knew it was worth.
But you had no money.
Yeah,
we had
so
no
now
money.
we're finding out.
Okay, we're getting to this bit. We had no money. We knew it was worth 175. Yeah?
Yeah.
We knew we could buy it for 123 because we had the right person to buy it from, the motivated vendor who had to sell.
So you get somebody down on their luck or who's dying.
Down on their luck who's dying. Well, people need to sell for many reasons.
Okay.
You know, some people have to relocate. Some people. The difference is that one person has the time to put their property on the market and take however long they want for it to sell. They're in no rush.
So you got to find the guy who's desperate.
Exactly.
Okay.
Someone that maybe something's happened and they need to liquidate and move on.
Okay.
Okay, this person was in that position. They had a work contract. Okay, they had to move. Right? And we were there to take advantage of it. But they were happy because they it's a quick decision for them. They thought, look, I'll take that, money in the hand, away we go.
How did you get them? Yeah, there
okay.
she is. She's a presenter.
I know. This is
I'm
good.
just
This is good.
intrigued. I want to do this. I want to do this.
I know.
All right,
tell her
so,
how to get the money.
Right. Okay, so everyone's quite familiar with the idea that the bank's going to lend you a percentage of the value of the property. In most cases, the bank will lend you 80 or 90%.
Right.
So if you buy a place for 100,000, the bank will lend you a mortgage of 80 or 90,000.
Right.
So all we really have to do to start is come up with that magical 10%.
And where'd you get that?
Okay. So one way to do it is to borrow this 10% from someone else. It could be a family member, a friend, someone who's happy to take.
Then don't you have to pay them back?
No, because they're only taking that as security. Okay, which is effectively allowing you to borrow yours from the 80 or 90 up to 100 because that additional 10% or whatever it was has been secured elsewhere.
They're not actually giving you the money then?
No.
They're underwriting the loan.
That's right. What they're doing is they're giving you the guarantee or the security, okay, so that you can because the bank's going to say, well, if you want to borrow...
So start schmoozing your friends now.
Yeah. If you want to borrow 100%,
yeah.
The bank will say, that's fine, but we'll need that 20% extra
right,
security.
So now
and
that's
you can
when
then
you
use
need your rich friends.
Yeah. So you've got to get creative, okay? And then what you do is that you would then, 4 weeks later, we did it in 4 weeks, is that we had the place revalued or surveyed again, yeah? We had the place surveyed again, and then we went back to the bank and said, will you lend us 80% of the new valuation?
And it went up.
Oh,
Because remember, we knew it was worth
Very good.
175.
Very clever.
So if you work, I don't have a calculator, but 80% of 175 was higher than our original purchase price.
Right. And like, this was my question. The bank doesn't say, wait a minute, buddy, you were in here like 4 weeks ago and we told you it was this. You know how they kind of remember
And
stuff?
they will do that. They will do that. And they'll say, because they said to us, well, hang on, because the bank always takes purchase price, valuation, whichever
Yeah.
is the lower. So they're going to go, well, we don't really care that it was worth 175. So what you do is you just say, well, that's fine, because I'm going to go and see the bank down the road and watch them turn around at about 100 miles an hour because they want your business.
Did you have to fix up the flat at all?
We did do some cosmetic work to that.
That was
Yeah,
it?
That was about it. See, everyone makes a mistake. They go in there, emotional, your place, so you get all excited about it. And of course, then you start doing major works. And
Right.
you don't hold back from spending. Whereas you only need to do cosmetic works, little simple things. So what we did is we just used to, put in new carpet. We would, paint. Kitchen and bathroom, 2 things have to be clean. And then we got really smart and we brought in a little furniture set. So things like this, and we would have them there. So when people went in there, it had a feeling of life. It had a feeling of, like, excitement.
Put some dummies on the sofas. Always. It shows that people live there.
Blow up dolls.
And then you 4 weeks later, you go back.
4 weeks later, you
So
turned
what
it over.
stops anybody here from doing it? How come you're so smart?
Well, I had to go there and just find a way. That's all I did.
Could we just do that
Everyone
too?
can do it.
What happens if you can't sell it though? Then you're left with
He's
the-
not
You're not
selling
going
it.
to sell it.
He's
You're not selling it?
You
You never
never
sell. Why
sell
would you
it.
sell?
Even I know.
You don't sell it?
No.
No.
Listen.
I'm
Because
even
all you
more
do
intrigued.
You're
is
making
you
money from
take
the
that
bank.
equity.
Oh, 'cause-
Yeah, you take
Do
that
you know how
money
to
out
do like
and you buy another one.
scams with the like credit cards?
Hang on, what again?
All right. So go ahead.
So you would, what you want to do is you want to buy at one price. You know it's worth something else, so you just simply buy it at that price. You're going to complete. It's done. But then 4 weeks later, or it might be 6 weeks, it might be 5 weeks, whatever. You then have it revalued.
You get more
and
money.
you get the new valuation on the new purchase price, and you've just
Tell
created.
anybody this.
Don't tell anyone this.
Nobody
And you
this.
make yourself a nice little margin, and then you take that money out and you just put it into the next one. We started in 1997, and we actually achieved most of it we retired in 1999.
What about now when everything's at the peak though?
No, I don't think that really is going to. I'm not really buying into that because property prices go up. If you still do your research, there are still lots of good opportunities out there.
Right.
Okay, so even though the markets go up, they level. People say do the properties market go down? It has gone down in the past.
Yeah, but what if interest rates are high?
That doesn't matter because you're looking at it at the time. Whenever you're looking at your investment, you're weighing it up at the time. So you're playing with money at what it's worth at the time.
Right.
And you know one thing, little things. When interest rates go up, rents go up. They don't go up like the next day, but rents will generally follow in line with interest rates. So
How come not everybody's rich then, if this is so easy?
you know why?
Why?
Because they're too busy working to ever learn.
I'm giving this up. We're going into business. Are we not?
Partnership?
Yeah, and
Okay.
then you'll read about us. Or you'll read
That's
about
it.
that I've kicked your little fanny because you didn't get me the money. This is just one theory on how you make money, okay? So don't suddenly sue us next week, okay? Don't try it. Let me try it, and I'll let you know. Don't take it as gospel, okay? But if I'm not here next year, you know where I am. Thanks very much for being on the show. Thanks.